Hello Nistas and Nistos, how are you today? Welcome back to the channel. You have arrived to Nista's Nation. I'm SavingsFashionista, and over here we do mainly things fragrances, whether it's body or home, and there are times where I will throw in a little bit of this or a little bit of that. But today we are here to talk about, of course, fragrance. Isn't this so cute? Just love this shirt. It's just so me. Perfume, glitz, glammy, girly. Alright, so we're going to get right into the content today. Today we are talking about fragrances, but we're going to talk about the foundation of fragrances. So as I was coming up with my summer fragrance recommendation, summer fragrance favorite list, summer fragrance wish list, you know, it's kind of like runs together, because there are things that we already know are really good in the summer. There are things that we're adding to it that we think may be good, and there are things that we want to add to it. So as I was thinking about or coming up with that list, I started to think about what were my favorite fragrance notes for the summer. So I have a list of my favorite fragrance notes. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to provide those notes to you, and I'm going to give you just a little background information on the fragrance, really just explaining what it is, where it's derived from. And I'm going to share with you some recommendations of fragrances that have that note in it that I already have in my collection, and I call them wish listers, and some fragrances that are on my wish list that have those notes in it. So let's just get right into it. Okay, Nistas and Nistos, this is an honorary mention of one of my favorite summer fragrance notes, and this is musk, and you can check out the video linked above. Alright, so my first fragrance note that I want to talk about is bergamot. Alright, so bergamot. Bergamot is a citrusy fragrance note. It is a cross between a pear lemon and a Seville orange or grapefruit. So you guys, just a little heads up. Depending on where or how they created it, they could create it with the pear lemon and the Seville orange, the grapefruit, or all three. It just depends on the company. But I think those of us who really know fragrances, we do understand that grapefruit is one of those very potent citrusy fragrances, and it could potentially give off a sour note on your body if you're not careful with that. So I'm going to give you a very good example. The Trader Joe's grapefruit body butter. I don't wear that. My husband likes it. It works well for him. But as for me, I just don't like that sour note, because it almost kind of makes me feel, you know, self-conscious, like, do I smell sour? But anyway, bergamot is definitely my most favorite citrus note of all times. I even use the bergamot essential oil. The little now oils that come into like the little 1 to 2 ounce bottles. I use those. I have made my own fine fragrance mist. I have added the essential oil to like my moisturizer that I put on, and it wears very well. Essential oils are really nice for to use as a beard oil, but whenever you use an essential oil, please make sure that you always use a baser, some type of carrier oil, because if you don't, you could really irritate your skin because it is very potent. Alright, so some of my recommendations that are already a part of my fragrance catalog are Leslabos Bergamot 22. Very, very good. It's almost like a spot-on bergamot fragrance, and this is so unisex. Bergamot is such a fragrance note that is so universal. I mean, you can go from, you know, a man using it to a female using it. You can mix it with a combination of fragrances that you already have. So it is just very diverse. I just love it. All right, the next one is Joe Malone's Lime, Basil, and Mandarin. This boy, girl, I mean, this fragrance, it stands alone. You know, it could really come off as a little too strong. You have to really know and understand how to apply it. And the next one that I have in my combination that is more of a pretty girl with a bergamot in it is Whispers of Guidance by the House of Sillage. And my all-time favorite fragrance, I already gave you the story about that fragrance. If you have not seen that video, which is my top 5 niche fragrances that I will always have in my collection, but there's a dilemma behind this one, and it is the Bun Number 9 Scent of Peace. Alright, so it does have that bergamot, grapefruity, pretty floral like note in it. So the one that is on my wish list that I would like to add to my collection is the Nishane Oolong Chai. Alright, so let's get into the next fragrance note that I really enjoy in the summer. It is Jasmine. Jasmine is a floral note that comes from a flower. It is a white floral scent. It crosses between fresh and sweet. This is a very good description. Google. Alright, so it crosses between fresh and sweet. Jasmine is one of those just very easy fragrances to wear. It's not too sweet, but it's fresh enough for it to be comfortable in most, most settings. But the fragrance that I do already have in my collection that I completely enjoy, and it was a part of my spring top fragrances. If you have not checked out that video, please go over there and check out that video. It is the Chanel Chance Eau Tendre perfume. So the Chanel Chance, it is just as what Google said a jasmine note is like. It's like a fresh, sweet fragrance, but at the same time very sophisticated. Not at all on the lower end, and it's not just because the name that it garners. The actual juice inside of the bottle, it is really good. So Chanel Chance. Now, one of my fragrances that have one of the it will be mine. Let me speak that into existence. One of the fragrances that are on my wish list that I have gone into the store and tested. I have looked at it online. I've been on the Jo Malone site. I've looked at videos about it, but I have not pressed the button to go ahead and purchase it. But I know that I eventually will. Is the Jo Malone Jasmine, Sambac, and Marigold. So that is a very beautiful fragrance by Jo Malone, and it does come in the strong version, which is in the black bottle, the cologne intense version. So I can't wait to get that and experience it. So the next fragrance note that I really enjoy during the summer months are Mimosa. Now when I think about Mimosa, I instantly think about the drink mimosa, of course. But when thinking about it in the fragrance world, and after I researched it, I realized that it's derived from a flower, a plant, and which most authentic fragrances are. There are some synthetic fragrances like musk that I truly enjoy, but most fragrances do come from a flower. So Mimosa is a powdery floral note with green and woody remnants. It comes from yellow flowers. Alright, so Mimosa is just one of those very unique, it almost puts you in the mind of spicy, that's that girl over there. She's appropriate, but that's that girl. Alright, so Jo Malone Mimosa and Cardamom is one of my favorite summer fragrances. It's also one of my spring fragrances that has the mimosa note in it. Again, Jo Malone Mimosa and Cardamom. And another one that is an oldie but goodie, and it also made my top 5 designers top 5 designer all-time fragrances, or forever list, I think. Yeah. Is the Yellow Diamond by Versace. Right? So that does have the mimosa note in it as well. Alright, so last but not least, and you probably already know what the fragrance note is because it is very common. It is coconut. Alright, now the Scentertainer, this is a blog, or some people call it a blog, some people call it a forum. This is a fragrance forum that I am constantly on, just, researching and seeing what other people feel. Fragrances, it's easier to watch a video, to watch me explain these things to you, but I'm this type of person. I always have to check the source and consider the source by the source. It doesn't mean that I don't trust anybody. It's not that. It just means that I am such a discovery type of learner. I want to get the information. Yeah, you gave it to me, but I want to go back and experience where you got it from. All right, so this information came from the Sense. All right, so according to Sense Coconut, the fragrant note of coconut is precious in the world of perfume and fragrances. It almost instantly invokes memories of summer, endlessly long beaches with crystal clear white waters and white pearly sands. The sweet, exotic, milky, and sweet note of coconut will open up your pleasures just as you open up its strong exterior body. Let this soak in. Let's recap it. It says, the sweet, exotic, milky note of coconut will open up your pleasures just as you open up its strong exterior covering. Now, you guys that know what a coconut is, I think you have to hit it with a hammer. I don't really know. I never opened a coconut, but I've seen them, touched them, felt them, and they are very hard. So, let that just soak in. Coconut. Alright, so some of my recommendations that I currently have in my fragrance catalog is the Utopia Coco 21 by K.I. Beach Walk by Replica. These two that I'm going to name now, they are body oils, but they can work just as well or sometimes better than an EDP. Ness Madagascar Vanilla Body Oil and Tom Ford's Soleil Blanc Body Oil. So, the one that is on my wish list is the House of Sillage Disney Times Mickey Mouse fragrance. I have a sample of it. I'm trying to save the last little bit. This is just one of those fragrances that it is so whimsical. I mean, just the name, the packaging itself, Disney. But at the same time, it's very exotic and sexy. So if you have not tried that one out, you need to try that one out. I have a sample of it. I don't have that particular cupcake, but I do want to get it. So I want to thank you guys for coming back to the channel. I really appreciate your love and support. Please don't mind sharing in the comments below some of your favorite summer fragrance notes or some of those perfumes that you really enjoy wearing during the summer months. So I want to thank you again, and I can't express that enough. Thank you guys. And do not forget, you, yes you are great. Bye-bye.